Have you ever accomplished something huge? Maybe it was a win that took you years to build, and the moment it happens, you downplay it. You tell yourself, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I don't want to make it about me. I don't really want to tell anybody. Maybe you just kind of like, you do it and then you like put push it aside. So this episode is for the humble high achievers, queens, the kings who crush it behind the scenes, but who freeze when it's time to name it out loud, to speak it out loud. Because here is the truth. It ain't bragging if it's true. And if you're not claiming your success, you are subconsciously training your audience to overlook it too. Perception is projection. So today we're asking, how do you talk about your wins in a way that is powerful and authentic and not cringe and not like braggy? Because the more you own your transformation, the more others will believe in your ability to help and serve and support them too. Kimberly Spencer, founder of Crown Yourself, international TEDx speaker, subconscious success strategist, and mentor to visionary leaders who are here to rise with their voice, visibility, and their values, building their empire and creating holistic success. With over 20 years of entrepreneurship and a decade in subconscious reprogramming and high performance business coaching, I help conscious creators and legacy leaders rewire their beliefs, speak their truth, and be seen as the guide that they already are. This is the Crown Yourself podcast, your sacred space for conscious leadership, subconscious success, and storytelling that moves your business, your mission, your purpose forward into the world. So if you're ready to start celebrating yourself, oh, I know that might be hard, but try, and finally lead and have others follow, stick around. Let's do this. And make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Back in 2017, when I first started scaling Crown Yourself, I had an amazing client. Her name is Bonnie Strati, and she's been on this podcast before a couple times. Her first episode was when we first launched this podcast back in 2019, and it was from hot mess to high performance. And then she came back recently to promote her book, Built Stronger. And one of the greatest gifts that she experienced through our coaching was, and she says this in her testimonial, so I'm allowed to share it, was that after 52 years, she could finally celebrate herself. And there's something powerful in the power of our perspective of ourselves and the wins that we've had throughout our lives that we can actually deeply be proud of on an embodied level. To give you an example of the power of perspective in embodying a win, it took me 5 years, 5 years to see my buyout from my e-com company that I was president of in between 2012 and 2014 as a success. For 5 years, I thought that I was a failure. I thought that I had lost that company. I didn't see it as a successful exit, which was what it was. So there is power in the perspective shift in championing yourself and acknowledging the achievements that you've had. So often there can be an emotional dissonance with us as high achievers, especially the ones who have some humility of who am I to share this? Because we see the people online, we may see some big people online and we're like, I don't really want to be like them. I don't want to be all braggy. I don't want to be cringy and showing off my Lambo and doing all those things. I just want to serve and support. And so in this episode, we're going to go through the steps to shift so that bragging is no longer a cringe thing, because this world needs you in your gift and it also needs you in your power. And owning your accomplishments is a part of that. So first, we want to rewire the association with bragging. So often we're taught not to brag. Maybe as a child, you were said not to brag and you didn't want to come off as arrogant. But consider this. What if bragging is not arrogance, but it's evidence? If it's real, it's actually not ego. It's actually you embodying the accomplishment of what you've achieved. Being able to stand here and say, well, sit here as I sit in my nice office chair, sit here and say that I have successfully run 6 full marathons and 4 halves. That is an incredible accomplishment that I've had to embody because of the work that I had to get here. If you see me, I have short little chihuahua legs. I am 5'2" on a good day. And when I was 17, I was an exercise induced asthmatic. I couldn't run a mile down the block to save my life. Like, I remember I would be running and I had like a CD player, and the CD player would be skipping like my heart. And I'd be like, couldn't breathe. And so the fact that within a few years of learning Pilates and navigating and balancing and regulating my parasympathetic nervous system and my sympathetic nervous system, I was able to run my first marathon in 2011 in a marathon that 100 people didn't finish because of hypothermia. Like, I was able to complete it and finish it. That's an that's not ego, that is embodiment. That is character building, not ego boosting. Ego boosting comes from boosting an illusion. Character building comes from doing the damn thing and achieving the result. Number 2, you also have to understand the fulfillment block. When you skip celebrating an accomplishment, you actually rob your nervous system of integration. I was having a conversation with a client of mine because she hit in within 6 weeks of coaching together. She just launched her business, and within 4 days, the first 4 days of January, she hit her income goal, her monthly income goal. Within the first 4 days. That's incredible. And I asked her, "How did you celebrate this?" And she was like, "I didn't." The problem is that when you skip celebrating, fulfillment doesn't come from achievement alone. It comes from letting that achievement land and be integrated as your new reality. One of my favorite things in how I celebrate is I will achieve a big result and I'll sign a big contract, hit an income goal, book a big stage or something, like launch a book and have it be a success, like finish a big project. And I will celebrate with my kids. We will have like a tea party together. So we're doing something that's normal, but for them is extra special because I'm like, oh, this is a special tea party. Or we'll go to the grocery store together, which is like super normal. And I very rarely go. Like, I am not the grocery store shopper in the family. I don't do that, but like we'll go and we'll specifically go to get some Martinellis and some champagne so that we can celebrate as a family together. And that makes it a special moment that integrates the win in the family. And it's not just a me win, it's a we win because it's a team effort, especially as a family. And if you have a family or a partner or even your work team, integrate it as a we win so that it removes the idea of the ego because it took many people to get there, whether it was a support system of having a babysitter or the support system of your partner or your husband just taking the kids for a couple hours so you could do the thing. Or if it was the support of your team showing up and being a part and hitting their metrics and hitting their progress goals. Whatever it is, make it a we win and integrate the celebrating as a part of your culture, as a family, and as a business entity. And number 3, we want to flip the narrative. So if you don't share your wins, here's the problem. If you never share your wins and those ego boosting bros on the interwebs who flash the cash and don't like actually have money in the bank, they win versus you. When you, as a humble, conscious, high achieving leader, when you share your wins, people can see what's possible through you. One of my favorite sayings that I repeat when I MC conferences is, if she can, I can too. If he can, I can too. Why would I not share this if it's true and could actually help someone else believe in themselves? Or better yet, give them a strategy to actually test, apply, and see if that works for success for them. Your story actually then has the power to give people permission to rise. It's like in my podcast where I talked about Alex Honnold's ascent of Taipei 101. That ascent gave people permission to rise into their own goals and dreams that they've had for a decade. Most people's is not to free solo a freaking building, but we all have our own ambitions. We all have our own dreams. All have our own desires that are on our heart of what we want to achieve. And when we see someone step into courage and courageously, boldly go for something, When you share the results through that lens of transformation, it's not look at me, it's look at what's possible. Look at what can be possible. It's like when Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile. Everyone before that said it's not possible. You're going to die. Your heart's going to explode. And then what happened after he did it? Another person did it very shortly after. I think it was like 2 weeks, maybe 2 months after, like not too far behind. And then another person and another person. Then the 4-minute mile became like a standard of speed running because someone had to show what was possible. The same is true with Alex Honnold's descent on Skyscraping Live and Taipei 101. Like that that was a demonstration of what's possible with preparation, with presence, with going for a goal. And like I said, most of us don't have a goal to climb a giant building. I know that's not one of my goals in life. I have a lot of like big, lofty physical goals. That has never been one of them. That is not my thing. Maybe rappelling down. That could be fun. But free soloing it? Hell no. But being able to share those results, to say, look at what's possible when you have a dream, when you have a goal. Here's a formula that I'm going to share with you that will allow you to brag without being braggadocious. It will allow you to share your story and your wins and your achievements, because that's a thing in storytelling as well. Like when you watch a movie, you feel the full arc. You don't stop and halfway through the movie when everything's going to hell and you're like, ugh, okay, I don't want the end of the movie. They're probably going to achieve something and I don't want to see them actually do it. No, you stay through the whole movie. You watch the whole thing. You get to the end. Your accomplishments, your achievements, that is the end of your story, but it is the beginning of someone else's. So let them see it's possible through you. So here's the formula for you to share your story. What it was that you did, what it was that you went for, what changed in you and externally when you went for it, what the outcome was when you did it, and then what you learned. This is where you then, through your accomplishments, through your achievements, you get to become the guide. You get to become the Yoda to the Skywalker. Because there are Skywalkers standing behind you 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 2 decades behind you, who are like, somebody come teach me, show me that there is possibility, that these dreams that I have, that I want, the things that I want to do in this world, show me it's possible. And especially in the era of AI, when anyone can create content, when anyone can create anything pretty much, your lived experience is more valuable because what you have is a story that showcases discernment. And when you have a story that showcases discernment, you can pick through all the bajillion ideas that AI has, that AI will validate you for and say, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Oh, you should also do this. Oh, and add this to your plate. And sure, add this. AI is never going to tell you to subtract unless you train it to tell you to subtract. Out of all the bajillion ideas, your story, your achievements give you discernment to say, ooh, maybe you should avoid that blockade. Maybe you should reroute your thinking about this. Maybe you should try something different about this because I've been there. Here's my lived experience. I've done what you want to do. Let me support you and guide you. Not claiming your brilliance is actually deflecting your divine role as a guide and as a steward for others. It prevents you in leaving the legacy that I know you want to leave. People have to be able to see you win. They have to see you achieve. They have to see you have success, which means they will not see it if you don't show them. They will not know about it if you don't tell them. It's kind of like in any marital relationship. Your partner doesn't know what you're thinking unless you tell him, pretty much. The same is true with visibility, with impact, with creating legacy. No one knows what you've done unless you tell them. And you have to say it repeatedly, consistently, regularly. And that is how you claim your brilliance. And that is how people start to see you as a guide who can then support them and serve them in helping them climb their own mountains, helping them climb their own Everest. That's why I created the collective, because the collective is our coaching community where we are done with playing small and not acknowledging our wins. You finally get to own your results, which also means, yeah, you get to own your failures. You get to own your mistakes too. You get to also own your worth, own your role as a leader in your space, in your industry. The Crown Yourself Collective can be your home if you are a courageous leader who's daring to step in to another level of greatness. This is a monthly high performance coaching membership for visionary leaders who are ready to take courageous, regular, soul aligned action. We build a weekly cadence, a pacing of taking one bold, brave, daring action per week. And then we celebrate those wins along the way. You will get the empire building strategy and the subconscious programming so that you can be seen in all that you are in your fullest expression, authentic as hell. Grab your spot inside of the collective down below if this is calling to you. And if you're like loving this podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, I need more of this, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and Apple and Spotify so that you never miss an episode. We also have our special audio only episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you are not subscribed on those platforms, definitely make sure you are so that you can get those added extra bonus audio only episodes. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business because your reign is now. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and start creating a bigger impact now by sharing this with a friend. Just by doing that one simple act of kindness, you are creating a royal ripple to support more people in their sovereignty. And if you're not already following on social media, connect with me everywhere at crownyourself.now for more inspiration. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules. Because today, you crown yourself.